It is 6 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. At this time, if you would please stand. Chair recognizes Pastor Phil Skelton from Living Word Baptist. If you would please come forward. Thank you. Thank you.
Father, thank you tonight for a city that still believes in prayer. Father, we live in a crazy world. Without you, there's no direction, there's no hope. Tonight, I just pray for this city, Lord. I pray that we understand that no matter what happens, no matter what goes on in this city, no matter if oil's good or bad, no matter if it rains or it doesn't rain, Lord, all the things we concern ourselves with, that together we can understand that you're good and that you're holy and that you're righteous. And that if we'll do what you'll have us do in the way you'd have us do it, Lord, it won't come back bad. You'll have to bless that, Lord. You stayed in your word, you'll bless that. And so tonight for the mayor, for all of these gathered, for everyone on the council, Father, I pray that they would come to an understanding that if they'll do what you're telling them to do, Father, nothing can go awry. It'll be the best thing for them, for their families, for their life, and for this city. And so, Father, I pray that tonight. I pray that whatever is discussed, Lord, whatever happens in this city, I thank you that you're here in the midst of this city, that you're watching it, that you love it, that you understand where we're at and where we're going, and there's never anything that will come to you as a surprise. Father, I pray you'll bless us, Father, but we have to allow you to bless us. We have to be doing certain things to let you bless us. And so, Father, I pray again that you will bless us, that you will help us, that you will guide us, and that as we look to you and we follow you and we understand who you are, everything else will make sense. Lord, we ask for your help tonight. Thank you for everything you've done, the seen and the unseen. Thank you for this city. Thank you for what it means to us. Thank you for the opportunities that it provides. And tonight I pray again that you'll just watch over us and we will look in every situation to you. Father, the all-powerful, everlasting, holy God, we love you, we trust you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. This time, recognize Councilmember Dean to lead us in our pledges.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
You may be seated. We do have one presentation tonight. If I could ask Alicia Webster with the American Heart Association to please come forward. How are
you? Hi everyone, I'm Alicia Webster. I'm with the American Heart Association, and tonight I have the pleasure of giving this award to Rod Hubbard of the Odessa Fire Department, and to recognize the great work that they are doing. They have received the Gold Plus Award for Mission Lifeline, meaning that these individuals, their paramedics and their EMS division of this fire department, are getting the patient not only the care that they need quickly, they're getting them to the most appropriate facility. And there's a lot that goes into that. So they're coordinating with their facilities, with your local hospitals, for those patients that are having heart attacks, so that they can open that artery in a timely fashion so that they don't lose muscle, and they're saving muscle. They're saving lives, and they're doing a very great job of doing that. So thank you for your hard work and your dedication and all that you guys are doing, and great job. I probably should have added that they are the only one in my western area that is doing this. This is phenomenal for your community. Great job. And I apologize. I just wanted to make sure I added
that. We appreciate Alicia coming down from Oklahoma to present this. I know everybody always hears me saying we've got the best paramedics, but now American Heart Association says it, so very proud of these guys.
Very good. My name's John Albers. I'm the fire chief for Odessa Fire Rescue. Again, just want to say, first of all, recognize our city council and our mayor and our city management for the support that you give us to make sure that we were able to do what it is that we do. Second thing is that I'd like to recognize the partnership that we have with Odessa Regional Medical Center and Medical Center Hospital, because without the collaboration that we have, the partnerships that we have with these two entities, we couldn't get this award. So, and then lastly, again, the men and women behind me, they're the ones that are making it day in and day out. They're the ones that are the boots on the ground that make it happen. So thank you very much for what you do.
And just council to say thank you to our fire and rescue. Thank you for everything you do. A lot of times you're behind the scenes and we don't see you unless something happens in our house or somewhere around us. And thank you for what you do. Next, we will move to the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next, we'll move to other council actions. The public hearing. We will open a public hearing to consider the approval of the request by Lourdes Jasmine Molina, owner. Mr. Brentley.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This first item on the agenda, the city mailed out 12 notices related to this request. We did not have any notices returned. We did not receive a written approval, but we did receive one written protest. The property involved in the request is located in the 3000 block of Andrews Highway. This site is currently zoned light commercial, and it is occupied by a vacant commercial use structure. Land use in the general area does consist of retail and commercial development to the north, south, and east. And there's various residential developments such as single-family, mobile home, and vacant land to the west. The applicant and property owner in this case is Lourdes Jasmine Molina, and the purpose of the request is to consider approval of a specific use permit that would allow auto painting and body shop in a light commercial zoning district. Site plan has been prepared that does indicate, I will get there eventually. That does indicate the location of an existing 7,450 square foot commercial use structure. This structure will be composed of an office, a body shop, and a paint room. There are no additional structures proposed for this development. The proposed body shop will require parking that does encroach on the neighboring Encore right-of-way. The applicant has produced documentation of an agreement with Encore for the use of their right-of-way for this parking. And the building setbacks and lot coverage do meet all ordinance requirements. The Planning and Zoning Commission did give unanimous approval to this request with the following conditions. The required parking will need to be striped. All wrecked or dismantled vehicles will need to be stored inside the building or in a storage yard area that is enclosed by a solid screening fence, and the minimum height of this fence will be 7 feet. The proposed paint booth will need to meet all building, electrical, and mechanical code requirements. Any signs related to this development will need to meet zoning ordinance requirements. Adoption of the site plan and the review of the permit upon receiving any neighborhood complaints. This is considered a temporary permit, and the City Council would have the right of termination of this specific use permit for violation of the terms and conditions of the permit, or because of a negative effect on the use of this property to adjacent neighboring properties, and all this would occur after a public hearing. And planning staff does concur with the Commission's recommendation for approval and be happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions from council?
I have one. What was the opposition that you received?
The opposition was right at the very edge of this, it's just said that they didn't like it.
Oh,
That's pretty much what it was. I don't like it.
okay.
Well, doesn't he say that it's unsightly and it would devalue his property?
Well-
But P and Z sort of worked around that
Well,
by
that's
being
why
sure
any
that,
wrecked or dismantled vehicles have to be stored behind either a screening fence or inside the building where that unsightly nature would not occur.
are there requirements in a paint shop in terms of like, the getting out and getting on, I mean,
Yes, ma'am, there are. There are very strict requirements. That's why we said the paint booth will have to meet all those code requirements.
with all of those?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, are there any more questions? Okay, this is a public hearing, so at this point, we will open up the floor for any public comment on this agenda item. So if there's any, would you please come forward? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Item 2, open a public hearing to consider the approval of the request by City of Odessa and Encore Electric Delivery Company. Mr. Brindley.
Yes, sir. The city mailed out 51 notices related to this request. We had 4 notices returned. We did not receive any written protest. We did receive 1 written approval. The property involved in this request is located northeast of the corner of Fitch Avenue and Avenida de Mexico, and the site is currently vacant. It is currently zoned general residential and neighborhood service. Land use in the general area does consist of various types of residential development. There's single-family, multifamily, and mobile home development and vacant land in this area. The applicants and the property owners are the City of Odessa and Encore Electric Delivery. And the purpose of this rezoning request from general residential to a special dwelling district would allow for a lot with a narrower width that would afford more homes on this property. In this case, it would be 33 lots, and these would be affordable housing units. The proposed rezone request is not contrary to established land uses in the area or the general land use plan of the city's master plan. The proposed zoning will be located near other single-family development. It will be infill development, and it will consist of affordable single-family homes. The Planning and Zoning Commission did unanimously approve this request of a zone change to special dwelling district, and the planning staff does concur with this recommendation and be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, are there any questions?
Are those are 0 lots, Mr. Brindley?
No, sir, it won't be a 0 lot line. It is considered a special dwelling district because we are reducing the front yard setback from a standard or a traditional 25 feet to 20 feet. It will still be a 5-foot separation from the side property line.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay, are there any more questions? Okay, this is a public hearing, so at this point, I will open up the floor for anyone who would like to comment on this agenda item. If you would, please come forward. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Now we'll move to item 3. Open a public hearing to consider the approval of the request of PTCAA Texas LP owner for annexation to the City of Odessa. Mr. Brindley.
Yes, sir. The property involved in this request is located in the northwest corner of the intersection of Kermit Highway and West Loop 338. At this present time, there is a commercial and industrial use development that's under construction, and this development is a truck stop and related uses. Land use in the general area does consist of commercial and industrial use development and vacant land. The applicant and the property owner in this case is PTCAA Texas LP, and the purpose of the annexation request is to incorporate approximately 7.1 acres of land into the City of Odessa. The current area of the city limits is approximately 52 square miles, and the total area of this request is 7.1 acres, which does put the area of the request within the annexation statutes that allow a maximum annual annexation of up to 30% of the city limits area. The City of Odessa Comprehensive Plan does state that the city should strive for an orderly city boundaries and utility service area, and annexing properties that are adjacent to the city limits line would be considered a logical boundary extensions of the city limit lines. A service plan for this proposed annexation has been prepared by the legal staff in accordance with state law requirements. Also related to this request, we are requesting a zoning of light industrial, and this would, the zoning would take effect upon completion of this annexation. The requested original zoning is compatible with the adjacent land uses. It is not contrary to the land use plan of the City of Odessa's comprehensive master plan. And the Planning and Zoning Commission did give unanimous approval to these requests, and the planning staff does concur with the Commission's recommendation for approval. Be happy to answer any questions related to this request.
Are there, does this annexation require us to put in any additional utility lines, or, you know, when we annex, I mean, is there an expectation from the
There-
city about this?
They're already there, and that's the reason for the annexation. It's
They're there for
right
them to
now-
tie in
Yes, ma'am.
already?
Right now, they're in an industrial district. That is scheduled to expire, and they're just requesting the annexation become part of the city, and we will be receiving sales tax out of it instead of just the fee in lieu of for the, when the
Thank you.
industrial
Thank you.
district expires.
Okay, are there any more questions? Okay, this is a public hearing, so if anyone would like to comment on this agenda item, please come forward. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
So move in a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Brindley. Next, under resolutions, consider outside agency request for funding for FY 2019 20 budget. Ms. Muncy.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The agenda item before you is to consider outside agency request for funding for our 2019-20 budget. Agencies have requested funding from the City of Odessa for this budget. A copy of each application has been forwarded to you for your review. It's in that great big book that you got. And I'm sure you've read every single page. The applicants have been informed about the meeting tonight, and I think you can tell that they're probably all here. So, Zach is our budget manager, and he is going to work with y'all tonight to do your tally of amounts. I think y'all have been given this worksheet to kind of work through what y'all want to do. I believe we allow 3 minutes per entity to come up and speak. And I think the mayor usually does a great job of running this for me, so I'm going.
Thank you, Ms.
If anybody needs the information sheet that was in the front of your book, if anybody needs that, I have copies. No?
Is everybody good?
Everybody good?
Okay.
Okay, we shall begin.
Thank you, Ms. Muncy. At this time, I will call up each organization, allow you 3 minutes to comment. Unfortunately, we can't give you any more than 3 because we have 27, and that will keep us here till midnight. So, first we'll call the Children's Miracle Network. Somebody here from...
Let me know when. Is it going now?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Thank you for having me tonight. I'm the coordinator for Children's Miracle Network at Medical Center Health System. Tonight I have here with me Tammy Hawkins. She's our secretary for our board. And I have Sadie Udi here. She is our CMN national champion for 2018. Her family is here in the crowd. They're very supportive of us. Sadie was a baby in the NICU at MCH for 54 days. She actually benefited from one of the equipment that we fund with Children's Miracle Network. We buy the equipment, we provide training for the nurses and staff, and we also provide research for the NICU and pediatrics at MCH. Because of the care she received from MCHS, she is now a healthy 8-year-old today. One of the pieces of equipment that saved her life is a giraffe omnibed, which is one of the items that we are requesting $36,500.78 for. We currently have 12 of these incubators in-house and are renting 2. 10 of these we have in use for small babies, and we must have 2 to 3 on hand, just open for admits. We have had to refer babies out to other hospitals because we could not accommodate with the number of draft beds we currently have. So that's a problem we are trying to fix right now. We are trying to accommodate all families that do come into our hospital. These beds do everything from monitor the baby's heart rate, administer medication, weigh the baby so they're not having to be taken out of the incubator, to weigh them, and much, much more. These are incredible life-saving pieces of equipment that we have for the hospital. We are also requesting $11,865 for seven micro-cool refrigerators. The refrigerators are used to store the mother's breast milk, which will dramatically decrease the risk of cross-contamination of giving the wrong breast milk to the baby, increase the convenience for the mother when storing her breast milk, and decrease the time for the nurse to collect and prepare the milk for the baby. The remaining $1,634.22 would be used to purchase other necessities for NICU families who are in need. At MCH, we don't allow anyone to leave the hospital without needing to pay. We really try to accommodate these families as much as possible, and there are some families that come to our hospital that are in need from several other communities. So we really try to accommodate them. With this money, we also buy car seats. It really just depends on the family's needs, what they're needing help with. I appreciate your time and very thoughtful consideration of this ask. Sadie, would you like to say something?
Thank you for help saving babies just like me.
I couldn't end it better than that.
Are there any questions from council?
Can't say no to that.
Haley, do you all have some of these giraffe beds now?
Yes, we currently have 12.
That's
We're
what I
renting
thought you
2
said.
right now.
Okay.
Okay, are there any more questions?
And we just want to add that we do have 30 private rooms in the NICU, something that really separates us from the hospital, just to create that environment for that family who may be in an uncomfortable and tragic situation. So we are trying to fill every single room with a giraffe incubator. It just takes a little bit of time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is Odessa Crime Stoppers.
Thank y'all for having us here, and we want to say thank you for the funding and the support that you've given us throughout the years as we've done this. We're rolling up on over 35 years now of having Crime Stoppers here, over $11 million worth of seized narcotics and stolen recovered property. I know most of you know how Crime Stoppers works, so I want to tell you, I thought I'd highlight a couple of cases that we've worked on that have really done some good. As you probably know, if you're on social media at all, you know that we did a social media marketing plan at graduation where we targeted social hosting for the new social hosting law that you guys have here. For 2 weeks, we advertised what we were going to do to you and what was going to happen if you were a host, and we explained social hosting the very best way we knew how. As we would have it, one of the calls that we got that night, OPD went out to a building that was being rented, and when the officer walked in the front door, the first thing he saw was a banner that said, "Congratulations, 2019 graduates." When he looked around, there were over 100 minors in that building consuming, and there were 9 adults there. 8 social hosting tickets were written, and one man decided that he didn't want to sign his ticket, so he got to go to the jail that night. Cost him a little more than your $2,000 that you get off of every ticket, but we did get it taken care of. We got another tip that very same night, put us over in Midland County, actually. It was over by Pee Wee Dalton's. When the officers from ECISD Police Department, who partner with us in this as well, got over there, there were more than 200 young adults running in and out of a house. All of them had alcohol, coming in and out with beer cans. They were everywhere. The police cars didn't even faze them when they pulled up. They just went back in the house. So we made a really good bust there. Another big one that we had just the other day, we got a call out into a neighborhood in East Odessa, went out there and went into a house, and there were about 30 underage people in there drinking. This was a typical party. When the police went and knocked on the door, people started scattering like little roaches. They were going out the bathroom window. They were going everywhere you could go, not knowing that we had ECISD there and the Odessa Police Department. Everybody was there in the alleys. The beauty of this part was I got to be in on part of that, and they had them go outside, and you would love it. They made them pour out all of the alcohol. There was a river of alcohol flowing down the alley. We were able to write about 25 MIPs in there that night and a social hosting. So we have worked on that. We would like to take that a little further. The funding that you guys give us help us with the operations of Crime Stoppers. It also helps us with that. We would like to expand it a little bit. We've gotten some feedback from the young adults that the mayor has on the Mayor's Drug Task Force that tells us that prom is just as big of a problem. And so we've had some adults tell us that they would like to see us out at prom. So those are some of the things we've been doing. If you watch Facebook, we've been trash talking some people with some hashtags, and it's really been working. You've got a fugitive wanted out of Odessa right now for he's wanted out of the county for a shooting, where we typically get about 20,000 people that look at that. We had 182,000 views on that. So it's working really good for us. We're pleased with the way the Crime Stopper program is working. We're getting a lot of tips, a lot of community involvement. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those.
Any questions?
I have one. On your, the other monies that you get, you said are $84,000, and $64,000 is fundraiser and donations. I was trying to figure out, there's not really a budget, but you said that none of the money we give goes to the rewards.
Correct. What happens with our rewards is the state of Texas has a law, statute, that allows judges to assess a fine on anyone that's convicted of a Class B or higher crime. At that point, you have to pay $50 to Crime Stoppers. Our judges are all very good to us and give us that $50. That money goes into a specific account that is used for rewards only. So basically what you've got is criminals paying to catch other criminals.
Okay.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you.
The next is Permacare.
Good evening, and thank you for giving me a few minutes just to talk about us. I'm Chris Barnhill. I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Permacare, which used to be known as Permian Basin Community Centers, or MHMR, if you keep chasing our lineage backwards. I took over for Ramona Thomas June 3rd of this year, so I'm relatively new to the position, but I did start in 1995 with the organization, so I'm just working on changing perspectives, and that's about all. Permacare is a local government agency that was established under Texas Health and Safety Code 534 back in 1969. The purpose of community centers was to bring people out of institutions where they were being held in the 60s and 70s and to put them into the community. It was people that were mentally ill, people that had developmental disabilities. And in 1969, the city of Midland and Midland County expressed an interest in having Midland MHMR. And so they applied for the state of Texas and received funding. And then in 1972, the city of Odessa and Ector County added themselves to that community center, and we began serving both service areas. At this point, we now cover 8 counties, which includes those 2 and Pecos, Brewster, Jeff Davis, Hudspeth, and Presidio. So we've got very few people in our frontier area, but about 27,000 square miles. That's a little bit about us. You know, each year we come to you and ask for funding for match that brings in millions of dollars of state and federal funding into the community as we act as the local authority for the state of Texas for mental health and developmental disabilities. Now, the program that we present in our application is called the Odessa Clue Workshop. That workshop is for people with developmental disabilities, and there we see about 89 individuals a year that have developmental disabilities. They come in and they learn about personal hygiene, they learn personal and social skills, they learn peer relationships, and some of them work on janitorial and landscape crews for the Texas Department of Transportation. Because we have people with developmental disabilities, they are able to get set-aside contracts from TxDOT that help fund it. This workshop makes a huge difference to individuals with developmental delays, and they've become more and more rare across the state because the funding that supports these workshops outside of what y'all provide us and what TxDOT provides us is very poor funding, and it hasn't been adjusted for a great many years. And our local economy and the high costs here for labor just kind of exacerbates that and makes it even worse. So we definitely appreciate all the support we've received. Now, for the last 10 years, from 2009 to 2018, we've received $75,000 a year. This year, we did increase that to $90,000. We try to be really conscientious of the budgets of our supporting agencies and our partners, but just seemed like the best opportunity for us to try to make up a little bit of ground at this time. So, any questions?
Is the entire $638,219 that you've listed for this project just for this Odessa workshop?
Yes, it is. And you can see portions of that funding comes from what's called home and community-based waiver services. And those are people who are Medicaid eligible that have a huge wait list to get in. I mean, the state of Texas has unfortunately not been funding a lot for developmental delays. They've really focused their attention on substance use, opioids, mental health. But that is the other funding source that comes in, and that is all for this program.
Well, thank you very much. And
Thank you.
I wanted to clarify too, even with this money and in your budget, you're still projecting that you're going to have to move $500,000 out of your reserves. Is that right? Your thing says transfer
Yes,
from reserves.
We do, yes. So our organization funds, like if we have capital outlay, things of that sort, the way that time has progressed, we can no longer fund most of that out of our operating revenues. So we end up using our transfer from reserves, and we've got some reserves through the years that does help us through that. But that's a problem we face someday when we can no longer do reserves. But for
For the
now, you know,
service.
if we're buying vehicles like these workshops, have probably about 20 vans that run around picking people up and doing things, and we keep those funded through that reserve transfer.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Any more
welcome.
questions?
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you very much. The next is Odessa Teen Court.
Good evening, council members. I'm Rebecca Grisham, and I just wrapped up my first full year as teen court coordinator, and my predecessor's back over here. We are before you again this year. We have, I guess, just finished our 36th year as the teen court in Odessa. We are still one of the oldest teen courts in the nation. And as Crime Stoppers helped my spiel out a little bit, we've been really, really, really busy this year with our teenagers, especially with their drinking. We do not have a lack of children right now. We have a lot of fighting at school. Our ECISD officers have been great this year. They have really been trying to crack down on the problems in the schools, and the overcrowding does not help. But they are doing what they can, and these kids are coming to us, and we are trying to do what we can to help them straighten out a little bit, and it works most of the time. And we have two new collaborations this year that we are very, very happy to have. We have the RED program, which is a program with Baylor Scott and White. They have a fully funded program that they've been doing all over the other side of the state, and they finally got in with Medical Center Hospital, and it is a free program for our kids, and it is a tour through the hospital. It is classes about alcohol, the dangers of all these things, but also shows our kids what happens if you are involved in a horrible accident. You start in the OR, you go to the emergency room, the operating room, and then the morgue. And so that's quite an eye-opening experience, and they just had the very first class. So we're very excited about that. Again, free. And then we also have a new one, which is Alive at 25. And every year we go to a teen court conference, again on the other side of the state, and they have Alive at 25 all over the east side of Texas. And they finally brought it here. OC is hosting it, and Texas Mutual paid for the entire program, which it cost about 10 grand to put it on, and they paid for our kids to go to it. So any kid in Odessa can go to this Alive at 25 program. It's going to be once a month at OC, and our kids have been going to that. We're super excited. So we're very happy with the direction of the program. It's still, going exactly the same as it has for 36 years, but we just have a few new little programs and little things for our kids to go to that'll kind of help open their eyes and keep them from parties. Do y'all have any questions?
Any questions?
Yeah, what's y'all's success rate? I mean, I know once these individuals, they can't come back to teen court. Is that correct?
No, they
After?
can. So we don't have a good answer to what the exact success rate is because they may not come back to us or we may not know what happens. But as far as how many kids complete, it's between 80 and 90%. We have very few that don't complete, but if they get in a fight at school, they may get in a fight the next year. They are eligible to come back 1 year after they complete teen court. So if I've got a 12-year-old that got in a fight and he finishes and he completes and everything's good, if he gets in a fight a year later, he's not able to come back for that. But let's say a year and a half later, 2 years later, he gets another ticket or later a driving ticket, he's welcome to come back and we'll see him for that. But he can't get a no driver's license ticket this week, come back for it again next week, and then the next week. So they are eligible to come back, but there are a few stipulations on it.
So how do you accurately track your success rate?
We just track the kids that complete it.
Okay.
We can track who completes, and then we see the docket as far as how many, like we recognize names if they come back through or not, but we don't have a way to keep up with if they ever got in trouble again, period. You know what I mean?
you guys, how close do you work with the school system?
Very close. So ECISD Chief of Police Hayner is on our board, and then we talk to them a lot, and then we have a meeting with them once or so a year and just kind of go over their process. And it helped them too, because some of their officers didn't understand what happened after they got a fighting citation, or I guess summons. And so as far as that goes, we've discussed with them kind of what happens. These kids aren't just getting a summons and then nothing's happening to them. They are having to go through teen court if they choose to. They're doing community service hours, jury duties, and whatever else the judge asks them to do. So it's not just a little slap on the wrist.
So if that's the case, are you guys also tracking how many of these kids either end up in detention, the juvenile detention system?
We don't have access to their records.
You
know what I mean? I mean, we could, if it was ever needed, we could probably figure something out, but we don't have access to what kids end up there.
Privacy rights and all that.
Juveniles. That's the one thing, you can't share anything.
Who
And
are
they
the I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And they do have to complete community
ma'am.
service
Mhm.
as a part of their completion
Yes, ma'am.
package, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
They do have to, and it has to be at a nonprofit, and that's in the law.
Oh.
And so in the state law, it says they have to do it at a nonprofit. So
That was going to be my question. Do you have specific nonprofits that you work with,
Ye-
or
yes,
do
ma'am.
they
We have
can
a
they
list,
do any?
but they can do any. Like we have a list, but let's say like the YMCA is not on our list. But if the YMCA will take one of our kids, we're fine with it, as long as it's a nonprofit, because that's what the state law says.
So then, does the nonprofit give you any kind of a report on how they did?
Some of them do. Some of them will give us a little note and say if they did well or not. And then some of them will call us and say, we had a problem with this child. He came to our agency and he stole a cell phone. That child would get removed from the program completely. So sometimes we do get some feedback from them.
I'm sorry.
No, it just seems like that, there's a lot of opportunity for nonprofits here to have some extra help.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
It seems like you'd need to require that they check off that, yeah, they did finish their community service.
Oh no, that we do get a fee. They have to sign a card. Like there's a card that they have to sign. I have to turn it into the judge so I
Okay.
can say, hey,
That says they did.
Bob did his hours. Yes, they have to fill that out. And if they don't finish it, and we know their signatures on like West Texas Food Bank, we know. Oh,
You can't.
the story.
You cannot
But
forge
the ones that
Libby's
we don't know,
signature.
we call and check on them. If we don't, I know the Boys and Girls Club signature, but I don't know all of them. So we will call and
Okay.
check and verify and make sure they actually did theirs. And we do have a lot of tutoring hours as well, so our kids can do their hours at tutoring in the schools.
In school?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, any more questions? Thank you very much. Next is UTPB First 5 Permian Basin.
Good evening. I'm a little bit shorter than everybody else. Thank you for this opportunity to speak on behalf of First 5 Permian Basin. My name is Dr. Minerva Gonzalez, and I serve as the interim dean for the College of Nursing. As you may recall, First 5 provides home visits to families, or for families, with children ages 0 to 5. The Odessa City Council has been instrumental in helping our program support literacy for socioeconomically challenged kids for the past 5 years. We are requesting continued support in the amount of $15,000 so that we can continue to promote that literacy. We work closely with the Early Childhood Action Network, and through that work, we identified through the Early Development Instrument data that only 50% of children in Ector County are on track for kindergarten readiness, particularly Neighborhood 7. So our program, in conjunction with the ECAN, we really target that particular neighborhood, but we also serve all of Ector County. With the awarding of these funds, we would of course use those to promote early literacy through our Kinder Camp program, installment of free little libraries throughout our community, monthly group connections, day in the park with dad, and these are just a few to list. Children who attend our events always leave with a book in hand to take home. And I will tell you that it is just one of the most rewarding things to see the excitement in these children's eyes, knowing that they get to take that book home. They share it with their siblings. And most of all, it just really prepares them for reading. It's kind of a lost art sometimes with all of our technology nowadays, but to have that book in hand just really shows in their faces. With the continued support of the City Council of Odessa, we can continue to promote early literacy, developmental milestones, and of course, kindergarten readiness. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
Yes, I see where it says we serve families in Ector and Midland counties. What percentage is Midland County and what percentage is Odessa?
I will tell you, I don't know the exact percentages, but I will say the majority is right here in Ector County. We actually have some of our home visitors here, and the larger portion of the families that we serve are actually here. We only have one that really goes to Midland, one educator that goes to Midland, because we serve so many families here in Ector County.
And it says our programs are evidence-based. What exactly do you mean by evidence-based?
So anytime that we put on a program for any of our children, we of course have to look at the curriculum that we're providing. Whether it's a very basic curriculum or something more advanced, we as educators, as faculty, we make sure that we're providing evidence-based curriculums. We're not just pulling it out of the air saying, oh, this looks like fun. We definitely look into the literature and, of course, in what we've been prepared to teach as faculty. And we make sure that it's appropriate for our target audience, again, being the 0 to 5 age group.
So your total for this program that is benefiting so many people in Ector County, the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, they're paying like $2,100,000 of this. So we're getting the benefit through your program in Ector County of over $2 million for a $15,000 investment.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, that sounds like a really good return on investment.
It absolutely is.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is YPO, Young Professionals of Odessa.
Ladies and gentlemen of the City Council, my name is Justin Long, and I am the chairman of the Young Professionals of Odessa. On behalf of the entire organization, I want to thank you for this opportunity to come in here and ask for your assistance. For those of you not aware, who is YPO? Well, YPO is an organization of 21 to 40-year-old young adults who have come together with a like-minded cause to improve the community through social work, through service work, through fundraising. We have a variety of communities that we do this. In fact, I want to recap some of what we've done. Y'all have helped us in the past, so let's see what your effort has done and what we've done together. One of our bigger things that we've actually started being able to help schools that are a little bit, have a population of students that are maybe underprivileged or things like that, and we started raising school supplies for them. In fact, that has become so successful. On the docket for the rest of this year, we're looking at working with 5 of them. So that has really grown quite a bit. We've also worked with fundraising last year with the West Texas Gifts of Hope, which was supremely successful. And this year we've teamed up with the Crisis Center as well. So we've already got that in play also. A couple weekends ago, we wrapped up our Odessa Under 40 ceremony, where we honored 20 individuals under the age of 40 who have excelled both professionally and in their community. And we had a big gala. We had about over 300 people in attendance this time. So it was very, very successful, and everybody really enjoyed that. With these funds, we are continuing to look at pushing these endeavors further and above what everybody else can think of. Since the city started supporting the Young Professionals of Odessa, we've seen a magnificent exponential increase in what we've been able to do, and that's why we're back here today. So I would like to say with every year, we would like to continue this trend and continue to work together.
Are there any questions?
I do have a question, and I've watched what you're doing, and I think it's great. And I know there's a lot of individuals under 40 who we would love to keep in Odessa. And to keep them in Odessa, we have to give them something to do and make them feel a part of the community.
Absolutely.
I am concerned, how do you recruit? Because I do feel that there's a large facet of those individuals who are not aware of what you do or how they can join or how they can become.
That is an excellent question. In fact, on our agenda is actually money going towards membership. Last year, we were actually able to create a dedicated membership committee So we were able to get enough people in there to start this. It was a small committee going off, but with the money we were able to give them, they were able to create more. So we've seen an influx in membership. Of course, we pursue those things through social media. We do through our events as well, word of mouth. And like I said, it's starting off small, but we're continuing to grow that, and it has shown a great success.
Great. I'd like to avail myself to help you to grab the facet that I'm concerned in seeing. So at any time, give me a call.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, any more questions?
We don't actually have one of your financial statements. We have what you want to use this money for, which is predominantly, except for the membership, is for marketing or to help for the
Correct.
venues and things for your different events. But are you self-sustaining? I mean, are you making money on your events?
So
Do you
the
need
only
this
event-
$20,000 or $20,000? Do you need this $20,000? Is it going to help you do things better, or is it just going to help you survive? Because I didn't see any financials.
So of all of our fundraising that we do, most of it does go back out in the community. So we're kind of a money in, money out organization. We do raise money by our dues, and our Odessa Under 40, we do take that into an account as well. Other than that, everything else we raise goes towards the place we're going to, and that's why we kind of do need the help.
It goes to what?
To the organization that we're fundraising for.
To the crisis center.
Yeah,
So
for example, like
whatever you end up with in a charitable
Correct.
organization each year gets whatever you end up
And
with.
we do also hold events as well. The events, the smaller ones that we do, we choose to make it more attractive to create a buzz to get people in. We do offer, to support, beverages here or drink or food here, little small things. So when you do that over and over throughout the year, it does add itself up. So
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So, how many members do you actually have right now?
We're about 150 members.
About 150. And how much of that, what type of retention rate do you have with those members? Are they repeating every year, or are you?
We do have a good success rate with that, and that has started with the creation of the membership committee and the advancements in our marketing. For example, last year we had a website that was kind of working, so that was one of our top agenda items, was to get that going. With things like that, we become more attractive to the community, and therefore more people are coming back.
Okay. And are you charging? I see you have a annual gala. Are you guys charging for that gala or anything like that?
For the members?
No,
Oh.
for public or whatnot.
We
For
did,
any
in fact. So
participants.
like that's the Odessa Under 40 event we had, and so we had tickets for sale to the public,
Okay.
which is how we got to the higher number that we did.
It's a great event. You all did good this year.
Thank
Any
you
other
very
questions?
much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we move to the hotel motel funds. First is Black Cultural Council of Odessa.
Good evening.
Evening.
I'd like to start out by saying, Black Cultural Council, I'd like to thank the mayor and his councilman for the support y'all given us through the years. We also put on 3 major events in the city of Odessa. Our first event that we put on is the MLK Breakfast and Rally. We also have Evening with the Stars, where we recognize young men and women in our communities that make a difference in their community. We also honor them with a scholarship. And then our last event that we put on is the Juneteenth celebration, which is a big event here in the city. And I think everyone enjoys it when they come out to celebrate with us.
Are there any questions?
No, I just want to say that I've attended some of each one of these 3, and you all really do a great job on your events and in attracting people coming in. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'd just like to thank the Black Cultural Council for your scholarship efforts, because having attended them, I know that a lot of your recipients are young people who are doing well in our community who, without your recognition, would not have the opportunity to be recognized otherwise. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Are you guys charging for any of those events?
No,
Are they
all
all
our
free?
events are free.
Okay.
Anything else? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is Commemorative Air Force High Sky Wing.
Hello, I'm Gina Linebarger with the Commemorative Air Force High Sky Wing, and I want to thank you for allowing us this opportunity. You've been gracious to us in the past, and we would like to continue that relationship. Air Show this year, in 2 months, in September, will be the 29th annual Air Show that's been put on. Air Show it's a great event, but more than that, it's become a destination. People come from all over the country to this show. We do have great support from the community. We have outside people that come in. Through our ticket sales, we're able to track the number of outsiders that come to see us. So I think it's most interesting that in Texas, we had 39 cities that were represented at Air Show this last year. 31 of those cities were within outside a 100-mile radius. So a lot of people came in, anywhere from Amarillo to Harlingen to Houston to El Paso. We saw the towns, and they did spend the night. We also had 15 states that came to our air show, plus 4 foreign countries. And repeatedly every year we have this amount of people that come in. So we estimate the times that they're here, it's too far to travel back home, they do spend the night. So that is a great feeling that we have, that we feel like we are following the objectives of this grant application by bringing people into our wonderful town and putting some heads in beds. So we're thrilled about that. Other things that the High Sky Wing does outside of Air Show is our biggest fundraiser of the year. It does support us annually. But we also have Midland Army Airfield Museum. If you're not aware, the airport in the 1940s during World War II was the largest bombardier training base in the United States. So that's what we're preserving, that history. We're only open on Saturdays from 10 till 3, and we have a tremendous amount of people that come through. It's free of charge. So over last year, we had people from 36 states that came and signed our registry, so we keep up with that. And we had 118 cities in Texas, plus, this is no joke, 22 foreign countries that came through on a Saturday just to see the museum, and that means they're here in our community to see what we have to offer. So I thought that was a fabulous number to see. Any questions I can answer for an air show?
Any questions?
Air show is, this air show in Midland, Odessa is the largest volunteer air show produced in the country. There are no paid employees. We're all members, volunteers.
You increased your request from 50,000 to 100,000?
That is correct.
And this is billed as Midland, Odessa is recognized as the home of the air show.
Right.
I noticed in your other funding, Midland doesn't participate in this.
They have in the past.
But they are not this year? Is that why ours went from 50
Yes, it
to
is.
100?
And I'll just be perfectly honest, I'm a little embarrassed to even admit this, but they changed their funding program a bit. We got nothing in writing. It went to our spam email. We missed the deadline. We are going to request funds from the chamber. Cannot guarantee that. It'll be a first for us. It is an embarrassing thing to say, and here I am telling you out loud, this is what's happened.
Well, I just was curious why they were no
Certainly.
longer a sponsor, because it is billed as Midland, Odessa.
It is, and we're still hoping to get chamber funds for that event. We will not make that mistake again.
Okay.
Can we change the name?
I don't know. How much is the funding? Only kidding.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Next, downtown Odessa.
I'm reminding you, please smile. Smile is good for us. You want to do banners first? Doesn't matter. What do you guys want?
Downtown Odessa, then we'll talk to Steve.
Then Steve.
Okay.
Yes,
please.
Jingle Bell's coming up. Good evening, Mayor, Council. First of all, thank you so much. 1, for your time, and 2, for your dedicated service to our community. You guys put in an endless amount of personal hours into what you do to make our community a better place to live. I think you deserve a great thank you and a sincere pat on the back. Guys. Thank you. Downtown Odessa, let's move right along here. We are dedicated to the creative utilization, historical preservation, and promotion of the greater downtown area for all of Odessa. While we as a city department are geared and motivated to economic development, we as a nonprofit organization and board are geared with great passion and dedication to create positive changes that will bring our locals and visitors alike to a vibrant downtown that's attractive and it's a place to stay, shop, eat, and play. I have been charged in my position with many things to do with and for this organization. One of them being the creation of more events. One, to bring more people to the downtown area to encourage economic development. But two, very important, especially with what we're talking about, to increase the amount of visitors, put heads in beds, and bring the money to Odessa that will turn over multiple times in our community. I'm pleased to tell you this evening that when I started a couple of years ago, we started out with 5 recurring events. By the end of this year, we will hopefully see more than 10. That's pretty incredible. It has been through many creative sessions, literal blood, lots of sweat, and tons of tears that we have been able to and will continue to be able to pull this off. As you know, events are costly, and as you can see from our proposed budget, we have added a few events. Please know that when these numbers are prepared, they do not represent the total cost of an event. We work hard to secure sponsorships, both monetary and in kind, to help pay for these events, as well as working for partnerships and other entities who are interested in the revitalization of downtown. For example, Odessa Arts, we have a partnership for Hot Summer Nights. Crossroad Church, Night of Lights, West Texas Radio Group, Torchy's Tacos and Tequila, coming up, plug, need to go. And we're always looking for ways to improve our processes of securing sponsorships and partnerships, and I feel we're making some positive strides in this area. We are a small department of 3, and I have to commend my staff. They are absolutely amazing. They deal with me and we get through the day. I would also like to thank our board, as they have worked hard for many years to carry the downtown, formerly Main Street events. As you know, the board is going through some structural changes, and I would like to commend them for their patience and kindness through this transitional time. I know it's not been easy. We would not be what we are. DOI would not be the organization it is without them and their many years of passion, financial support, and service. Almost every department in the city of Odessa lends a hand to assist with our events. If you don't know that, I would like to sing their praises now too. Parks, building services, streets, traffic, solid waste, police department, fire department, Keep Odessa Beautiful, risk management, city manager's office, and of course, the finance department. Thanks, guys. It doesn't happen without these folks and a host of talented volunteers. YPO and Teen Court, thank you guys, and thank you very much.
Are there any questions?
I think it's important that you might note to everyone that's here that of those 10 events, at least 6 of them are free to citizens or any tourists, anybody that comes in.
Anyone.
So that's a real community service.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Fandango, by the way, we saw about 15,000 people this year. So it was pretty great. I have a gift for you before I leave, if that's okay. I want to make sure your feet are comfortable when you come to our events. Bribery,
Is this
of
bribery? Can we accept these gifts? Socks?
Really?
Make sure your feet are comfortable when you come to an event.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
for your service.
Thank you, Lamar.
Thank you.
Socks?
Thank you.
All right, the next is Mr. Steve Patton
And Luana.
and Luana.
And you went over your 3 minutes. It doesn't take away from mine.
No.
I have 4 applications that get 12 minutes, y'all.
No, you got 4 minutes.
All right. This application is for new decorations for the downtown area from 2nd to 8th Street. Those are pole-mounted decorations. Also, the decorations that we've included in the Exhibit A include 28 Midian displays, and those displays are going to be the same, and there's pictures attached to your application. There's A, B, C, and D, which is snowflakes, stars, reindeer, and a Christmas ornament. Those will be placed on the center medians throughout the downtown area from 2nd to 8th Street. Those also tie into the theming that we worked with Toby and Sandra on the convention center. So we tried to carry the theme of what their ideas are for the convention center as well as the Marriott. We're tying all the downtown area in with those same type of looks so that everything will tie in together in a whole new look for the downtown. Also included with that is banners, 188 banners. That's and that includes them being changed out 4 times a year, and lots of color for the downtown area. And that price includes not only the banners but all the labor and equipment that it would take to change out those banners 4 times a year. So quite a bit of stuff for downtown for the holiday season to make a big difference. We've had quite a few poles that have been rewired, hit, replaced all the way from 8th to 16th. Our target area used to be all the way from 14th to the interstate. And through the years and through all the replacement electrical, we need to focus from 2nd to 8th Street on a lot of our decorations and stuff. If we want to expand later, but let's start with new decorations for downtown and a new look.
Okay. Are there any questions? Thank you, Mr. Patton.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Ms. Lambert. Next is Fiesta West Texas.
I started teasing you probably call me out.
Yeah.
I want to first say thank you, Mayor and Councilman. Fiesta West Texas will be celebrating 25 years this coming next year. The event is held the first weekend in May, always Cinco de Mayo. It's a 3-day event. We feature some of the top country artists, Tejano artists, Norteño artists. We bring in family shows. This year we brought in sharks, a shark show. We brought in a tiger show. We brought in sea lions, different family shows for the kids of Carnival. We brought in different food vendors from across the state, traditional folklorico dancers from UTPB. We brought in some schools from Hobbs. So over the 3 days, we did about 25,000 people in attendance. That right there shows you some of the tracking that we did through the ticket lines, through the ticket sales online. These were from anywhere from Pecos to Fort Stockton to Andrews to Roswell. You can see some from Dallas and Houston. The other part of there shows you the digital marketing we did. We spent a lot of money trying to target some of the 17 counties in our viewing area. We did that with radio, TV, and digital, and it shows you some of the tracking. Digital allows you to really see who's actually looking at your ads. Radio and TV, it's kind of a hit and miss. You don't really know who's listening or who's watching. But digital really helps us track who's actually clicking on our sites. And all of those sites were directed right back to Odessa. Different websites in Odessa, we tied into the CBS, to the Fox, and to the actually to the chambers, local chambers. We directed a lot of traffic into the chambers' mobile apps. What we were trying to do is to reach a new audience. We reach Odessa Midland very strong. We were trying to reach a bigger market, and we felt it coming until we had tornado warnings on Friday and tornado warnings on Sunday. So weather kind of hurt us this year. We were actually looking to break the attendance that we've done in the past. Most of the money in fact, all of the money we use is all targeted to marketing. That's what we've been doing. That's what I do for the last 25 years. So we created several TV ads in Spanish and in English. We targeted every community with the digital, and we had over 110 rooms booked just directly from our own people, from the acts, from the shows, from the artists, from the workers that we brought in. So that's it.
Okay, are there any questions?
On your ticket sales, I guess this tracker just ones that people bought online.
So
Is
that's
that
only
right?
online. That doesn't account for the ones that bought at the actual venue or at the outlets, ticket outlets, or at the venue. That only tracks online ticketing.
Okay. And you are a for-profit organization.
Yes, I am. Yes,
So,
but all the money that's actually made every year is actually put back. If you look at the cost of the event, it can run into the $400,000 to $500,000. Biggest amount of money is usually sent right back to the Coliseum, which is about $20,000 to rent. The sheriff's departments, because we want to make sure that we have enough security, we pay over $12,000 to $15,000 just in security.
so when you say the profit sent back, you mean because of the services that you're
Correct.
using?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions?
Does any of that give back to the community, such
We-
as scholarships?
So we've done the scholarship. What we do is we pay the UTPB scholarship funds through the folklorico dancers that come and perform. Also, we give back to the church communities as far as some of their, as they come and volunteer. We use their volunteering hours as money and pay them back directly to the church. That's how they use for their church summer programs where they go out of town and take their trips for the kids. inside the youth organizations.
It says you've already booked 50 rooms for 2020 at the MCM Elegante.
Yeah, we have to go ahead and block those, because if you don't, when you get that to that time, especially here in Odessa, you won't have any rooms. You'd have to start going to Andrews or Midland.
What
We don't
type of
want
rate we're talking about here?
What type of what?
Rate.
Well, right now, if we get them on Saturdays, Thursdays and Fridays, you're probably paying about 150 to 200, and Saturdays you're paying about 80 to 90, depending on the hotels.
Any other questions?
I do have one more. In your write-up, it says our plans for this year is to bring more educational activities.
So when we do the educational, it's the type of programs. When the Shark Show, and I would love for you to come out next year. The Shark Show, they give an actual explanation of the sharks and how they grow, how they target. So that's always given prior to the each show, the Tiger Show, the Sharks. The one thing we are trying to bring back is team roping. We lost it 2 years ago. The facilities at the Coliseum just were not what we were losing attraction to other roping. And now that they're building the new facility, it'll actually help us bring back team roping. So that's another, again, heads in beds. That's one of the things that we really do very well.
Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is Junior Jacks Youth Hockey.
Good evening. My name is Todd Thompson. We've had hockey in the desert of Odessa here now for 23 years, and each year we've been hosting tournaments. Our seasons run from about September until mid-April. Last year we hosted over 16 weekends of tournaments, and with the growth we're expecting to host more this year. We've got teams coming in from El Paso, Amarillo, Dallas, San Antonio, as well as Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Oklahoma. We became part of the Dallas Stars program this year, which is helping us to keep the costs down. We have a Learn to Skate program, which is starting July 23rd, and we have 50 new children signed up for it this year. We expect to see 30 to 35 of those stay with the program, as we do every year. So Odessa's basically on the map as far as hockey goes. We're seeing a lot of teams from outside of Odessa wanting to come into this tournament after they've been here the first time. Going home, for example, last year we had a team from Austin come up, and after they left our tournament here last year, they went home and we had 3 other teams from Austin contact us to want to come up and play. The hotels have been working really well with us to give us rates for what we need. This year in January, we're hosting a tournament and we're expecting 26 plus teams to come in. So that's all I have.
Okay. Any questions?
There's 26 plus teams. What's the rate you guys are charging to get in the door?
For the tournament?
Yes.
I think we charge $650, $700 range for each team to come in, and that basically is going to cover their ice time while they're here for the weekend.
Okay. I'm not speaking about the team itself. I'm speaking about the attendance to come watch.
Oh, there's no charge for the youth hockey.
There's no charge.
There's no
Okay.
charge. And it's we have several volunteers. We do have some former jackalopes that are back that do coach for us, and then the majority of us that are out there are volunteers doing it.
How many volunteers do you have?
Oh, I would say we probably have between 25 and 30 volunteers for the youth group. Okay. The youth group is anywhere from the age of 5 years old to 16 years old.
Okay. Any other questions?
On your other cost of $168,000, basically, that you need to operate this program, you just have Odessa Jackalopes. Do the Jackalopes support you for the other things you need? Where do you get that other $168,000?
That will come in from the families that pay for their children to be in the program, as well as the Jackalopes do support, I believe.
Okay.
And you mentioned the Stars. Are they going to give you guys any type of funding, or were you talking about the Dallas Stars?
Yeah, the Dallas Stars Learn to Skate program. It's their youth program out there. They don't give us any funding that I'm aware of, but they do help supply with equipment for the new kids that come in. So
Okay.
if your child signs up in the Learn to Play program, they're supplied with skates, helmet, pants, shin pads, shoulder pads, everything that they need to start the program.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
And you are a for-profit organization, so have you made any money on this? I mean, we don't have your financial statements. Is this or do you know?
I don't think we make anything on it. No, everything that goes in basically goes back out to the program.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, Junior League of Odessa.
Thank you for having me. I'm a volunteer with the Junior League of Odessa and the publicity chair for our annual fundraiser, Merry Marketplace. I would like to first thank you for your past support of the many years. We had a really great year last year, and in part we have you to thank for that, for helping us advertise for the event to bring people in. This year, we would like to ask $25,000 for the 37th Annual Marketplace, which will be held this fall at the Ector County Coliseum. The money raised from the event is returned directly back to the community through our projects, community assistant grants, and through projects of other local nonprofits that we partner with and financially support. Through the funds raised at Merry Marketplace, the Junior League has returned well over $6.5 million to the community of Odessa. Merry Marketplace is one of the oldest Junior League events in the United States and draws over 90 merchants from across the United States. Since each of the 90 merchants bring between 1 to 8 employees to staff their booths, and they all stay between 5 to 6 nights, the event measurably puts heads in beds. We also see close to 20,000 people come in from outside communities that must stay in hotels on their visit. The Junior League hopes that by increasing our existing advertising efforts, we can reach even more surrounding communities, thus increasing the amount of people coming into Odessa to attend the event. Through the use of these advertising dollars, we will be able to increase our revenue, enabling us to further contribute funding that benefits Odessans through our projects for 2019 through 20. Some of these projects include Kids in the Kitchen in partnership with the West Texas Food Bank, Art to Go in partnership with Ellen Noel Art Museum, the City of Odessa Spray Park at UTBB, and many more. I appreciate your time and very thoughtful consideration of the allocation of these funds. Thank you.
Are there any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next is Odessa Arts.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. The Texas Municipal Hotel Occupancy Tax Code 351.101, subsection A, paragraph 4, states that up to 15% of the previous year's hotel occupancy tax collection may be used for, quote, the encouragement, promotion, improvement, and application of the arts, including instrumental and vocal music, dance, drama, folk art, creative writing, architecture, design, and allied fields, painting, sculpture, photography, graphic and craft arts, motion pictures, radio, television, tape, and sound recording, and other arts related to the presentation, performance, execution, and exhibition of these major art forms, end quote. In 2014, the City of Odessa allocated 15% to cultural industries as our community began to discuss in earnest quality of life for our city and our cultural tourists. By 2018, that number had decreased to 4%. When the state average is 12%. Yet when promoting our city to prospective businesses, tourists, and employees, the arts are consistently touted as one of our major attractions. A quick glance at any brochure or recruitment video will show you photos of Stonehenge, the Wagner Noel Performing Arts Center, the Ellen Noel Art Museum, or of course, the Joe Barrington Steer. In 2018, over 50,000 people attended at least one cultural event. That's more than the populations of Andrews, Pecos, and Fort Stockton combined. Approximately 1/3 of those were cultural tourists. As of June 30th this year, over 30,000 have already attended one cultural event. By investing hotel occupancy dollars into the arts through our cultural tourism grants, our organizations are able to present a wide variety of cultural activities at little to no cost to our patrons. This not only provides visitors to our city with activities and a good impression of Odessa, but the significant byproduct is an increased quality of life for our residents. The ROI is measured not only in attendees, but in community pride and satisfaction. Over the last 2 years, we have worked closely with the Texas Hotel Lodging Association and Texans for the Arts to refine and improve our sub-granting program. And I'm happy to say that our new application, which will roll out this year, focuses even more on the relationship between the arts and the hotel industry in Odessa. By funding the arts at the full 15%, the city not only provides a much-needed financial investment, but it sends a clear message that the cultural commitment of this ever-growing city is steadfast. It also allows our agencies to leverage that investment into additional support through the Texas Commission for the Arts, the National Endowment for the Arts, private foundations, and business partners. We thank the city for its continued support and urge you to restore arts funding to the full 15%. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, Randy, how many other departments do you support?
In 2019, we gave 13 agencies cultural tourism grants totaling $200,000.
Okay.
Other questions?
Randy, you have requested quite a bit more. Can you kind of just explain some of those? What
Yes,
you want
ma'am.
with some of that funding?
The amount that we're requesting, the $1,173,820, not only goes towards the sub-granting program, but also it goes towards the public art program, which we manage for the city. We also are looking to do some professional development for our arts community, because I've been going out for 5 years telling the business community to treat our artists as business people, but we need to also give our artists the tools in which they can create a budget, do a marketing plan for themselves, be able to write a business plan. Those things that artists just really don't have the capacity to do. We want to be able to do that. So we found basically Leadership Odessa, especially for the cultural community, that we want to bring in here. In addition to that, we want to write a cultural plan for the city of Odessa. We don't have one. And we've got a public art master plan, we've got the city's master plan, we have master plans for everything, and we want our cultural community to move in concert with the direction that the city's moving. I am also planning on sending a letter of intent to the Texas Commission for the Arts to get cultural district designation for the city of Odessa for the next legislative session. And that will, bless you, that will free up some state money to come to Odessa, specifically for promoting a cultural district. And the best way to get that is to have a cultural plan. So those are some of the bigger ticket items. Also, in case you don't know, we are a one-staff organization. You're looking at the janitor, the secretary, and the executive director. I'm very lucky that I have Ross Edge as my intern this summer, but I'm going to lose him in exactly 1 month. And we have grown exponentially in the last 5 years, which I'm very proud of. But in order to make sure that we are good stewards of the city's money, we would need to have a fully staffed office, and that includes a full-time office manager and, of course, a development person, because I want to make sure that the money that the city allocates to the Arts Council is matched with private support, National Endowment for the Arts, Texas Commission on the Arts. All of those are grants and sponsorships and things that we're going to have to go out there and chase. And having a full-time development person will help us with that. So those are really the biggest ticket items we have. I did want to mention one thing that I'm very, very proud of in terms of our public art, and that is that the city's been funding it for about 5 years, and we're going to start work on the Cloth World Tower in August. I'm so excited about that. But 2 times in the last 12 months, I've had private businesses contact me and say, we would like to put a piece of art in front of our business, and we will pay for it, and we'll give the Arts Council a small donation to cover your staff time if you will help us find the right artist. So the example that the city has set already through the Arts Council is encouraging private businesses to beautify our city through the public art program.
Okay. Any other questions?
I would actually like to thank you actually for all the work that you have done. I think it's very important that we do add a little bit more culture here in Odessa, besides bars and clubs and things like that.
Thank you very much. I believe that as well. We are planning on having, and First Five's going to be very happy about this. For the first time in 4 years, we're going to have the Books in the Basin Book Festival return to Odessa May 2nd, 2020 at the new Marriott Convention Center. So we're going to have over 40 authors here in Odessa, and I'm really proud of that.
Any other questions?
Well, again, I really do think culture is the lifeblood of any society. It offers a lot of intrinsic value as well. And again, I just want to thank you for everything that you've been doing. And let me ask you a question. How much, not this previous year, but before that, how much did we allocate to you again?
In 2014, we got $800,000. In 2015, we got $800,000. In 2016, we got $450,000. The next year we got $400,000, and this current year we got $350,000.
So we've reduced your budget significantly, and you still were able to do the things that you do.
Barely.
So if
I don't know if you see the dark circles around my eyes.
So we were to actually give you what you need. Basically, you could do some amazing things.
We could do some fantastic things. And I just want to reassure the council that the sub-granting that we do by giving money to the symphony and the art museum and all of that, we track that. We do site visits all year. And if we have a grantee that has a problem, a band can't show up, or an exhibit gets canceled, we give them logistical support to go out there and find that, because we want them to spend that money well. And so we give them the tools that they need to succeed.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Randy, I just want to ask you.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, we have way more requests than what we have money. And
Yes, ma'am.
so the only thing that I was curious about, if we cannot fund that $300,000 that you have asked for this, basically the Spire and the 5 districts, if there's any left over.
Yes, ma'am.
If that is reduced somewhat, do you feel like that you have the capacity, and especially since we are giving you money for another development person, that you can raise that additional 100 that you think you need?
I believe so. I have been inspired by the Spire and the action of the community who has all come out to support this. Once we had the initial investment, we have seen support from the FMH Foundation. We've seen support from private citizens, and I'm talking everything from $5 to $25,000.
Right.
Tomorrow morning, as soon as this is over, I'm going to visit the Abel Hanger Foundation. So, we are out there making sure that your investment is matched with foundation and private support. And the Spire is incredibly important, not just to Odessa Arts, but to the community. It is going to be a significant game changer in the way that we discuss art in Odessa.
How much of your request is budgeted for the Spire?
We have $300,000 that's budgeted for public art, and across that, we are a little less than $200,000 away from what we need to finish the Spire. And I'm sure all of you are going to be very surprised to hear that it's because we couldn't find contractors locally to want to do things. And that significantly increased what it's going to take to remediate the structure. The art itself is already finished. Ray King has already constructed it. It's ready to be packed up and shipped off. We just need to get the structure ready. And to do that, we had to go out and find some contractors. And unfortunately, we had to go out of state. And that increases the cost. And so that's where our cost overrun
We
is.
couldn't find any locals.
No.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you both. Oh, thank you all very much.
Next, Odessa Visitors, Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Monica Schauner. I'm the Director for Discover Odessa. As I've recently have reached out to you to let you know that the Odessa Convention and Visitors Bureau is now rebranded ourselves as Discover Odessa. We're very excited about this. We feel that this is a call to action not only for our visitors but even to our local citizens to come out and discover what we have to do in our city, and there is a lot to do in our city. With this rebrand, we are utilizing our monies for a new website. This is going to be a website that's going to be user-friendly for the potential business that we reach out to. For meeting planners, they can look to see what our meeting spaces are and what we have to offer. It'll also be user-friendly for our visitors that go and visit our website. One of the things that I've been in this position for a year and a half, we have been working strategically on the relationships with those that we work with. We've been meeting with hoteliers. We've met with meeting planners. We've been serving on committees to learn what's going on, to help them and assist them and what we can do with bringing in more events. We've been working with restaurants, getting coupons from them to put into bags that we give to visitors so that they will be encouraged to go and eat at those restaurants. We've worked with Odessa Arts. Randy and I have gone to hotels and we have visited with them to find out what their guests are asking, and they are asking what's there to do and where is there to eat. And we promote our Odessa app to them so that they can find all that information. We have also worked with local attractions, and that's what we have worked to collaborate with the people that are going to make us stronger in our department, knowing what we can do collaboratively for our visitors so that we can have repeat business. Of course, the conference center is going to be a great asset for us. We still have the challenge of high hotel rates in the middle of the week, but after meeting with our hoteliers recently, we have found that their weekend business and occupancy is down. In our industry, that is the sports market. I know that the city has put in money for a sports facility plan or study, and we're encouraged by that and excited about it. We have 2 hoteliers on our chamber board currently. At one of our meetings, one of our hoteliers stated that he has properties in Hobbs, Odessa, Midland, Lubbock, and his Hobbs properties are just, their revenue there is so much more than ours, and it's because of their multi-purpose sports facility. So we, would invite you to and encourage you to please consider that. Currently, we are booked in the middle of the week with oil and gas business, but on the weekends, we can be booked with sports groups, and so that would help us to diversify the people that we bring into our community. Some of the requests that we've asked for is a kiosk. We're wanting to use some of our extra money for a kiosk so that we can have a presence at the conference center for those guests that come there. Okay. Are there any questions? Oh, sorry.
I saw on A, purchase economic impact calculator subscription. Can you just explain?
Yes, absolutely. So we're real excited about that. That is offered by Destinations International. That group will come to our city and find out what our city taxes are, what the hotel rates are, and they will do a scientific study, if you will, to determine exactly how much of an economic impact each group is bringing. And they have 3 different ones. They have a sports calculator, they have an events calculator, and they have a conventions calculator. So all those are different because on weekends, obviously the hotel rate is lower, and with that, then the economic impact won't be as much. During the week, they're higher. Those are conventions. So they come in and do a study, and anything that's questioned, they will personally bring someone here to verify any questions that are asked about the economic impact.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Just to say that, you are our contract labor for conventions and that type and visitors. So I think that you all do a very, very good job. And when you said you're expecting to do 77,000 rooms, that is very impressive.
Well, thank you very much. We enjoy what we do. We're proud to be, and I want to commend our staff because they are really working hard to make these relationships with our local meeting planners and go out and visit them personally. So it's important to us to develop those relationships.
How many staff members do you have?
We have 5.
5?
Yes, sir.
I do want to hear about the kiosk.
So the kiosk, we have met with Michael and we have met with Marion. It's basically going to be a desk, and we're looking at different ones. We have one that will have a digital component that maybe a visitor, in case someone's not there to man it, can walk up and type in or punch in information that they're specifically looking for. But if there are conferences there, then we plan to have volunteers that will be there to man it and answer any questions about Odessa.
It's at Ambus, so You're asking for a kiosk and bus for Tourism Week?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I had to think. Yes. So for Tourism Week, that's something that was successful about 2 years ago prior to me getting here. They had a bus that, actually it was 2 or 3 buses that invited our local community members and city council to come and go and take a tour to all of our different attractions. They provided lunch. They did some fun games as they were traveling in between all the local attractions, and that is a significant cost, and so we're wanting to do that again to encourage our community to come out and see what we have to be proud of. I know recently Renee Earls was at our arts museum, and one of our local well-known people had never stepped in there. So these are the things that we are challenged with, that we feel, I mean, we're all in the hospitality industry essentially. It's not just us, it's all of us. And so we need to be aware and know what it is we have so that when we encounter people, we can be positive about what we have to share.
Any other questions? Will you go ahead and cover the CBB sports?
Yes. So the SERP, which is the Sports Enhancement Recruitment Program, this is basically a grant, and we serve as a pass-through. We use this to incentivize sports groups to come and use our facilities. And so what we do is we have an application. They come in and interview. We talk to them about what this money should be utilized for and how it should, it's basically marketing and bringing in significant hotel use. Once the event is over, they bring in they have 30 days to bring in a post-event form. They bring in receipts. They have a budget, they have expenditures, they show how many hotel nights were utilized. Then we put that into an economic calculator that's been approved by the Texas Hotel Lodging Association. They bring that in, or we put that together, and then once we determine what they qualify, what they've asked for, we take that to a sports committee. And that sports committee votes and determines, and then we turn around and notify the city, and the city presents us with the check based on that request. And then we contact the group and let them know. And so it's really a nice program because, again, as you probably have been a part of organizing an event, it's a lot of work and a lot of money goes into it. And so this kind of helps reimburse their efforts, and they qualify for it based on the hotel nights that they bring in.
Okay. Any questions?
Do we have a lot of people utilizing that? Have we brought in a lot of sports groups?
So that goes back to a couple of things. We've made a change in that department because we have found someone, Teresa Vasquez. We're very excited about having her on staff. She possesses the qualities that we've been looking for, that is that assertive person that's going to go out and seek out that group. Currently, we were given $65,000 this past year. So far, we've given out $32,800. We do have one group currently that has an application in that we're looking to incentivize with some of that money. But that is one of the areas that we have fallen short because of a lack of aggressiveness in that and approaching the meeting planners. And with our new person on staff, that's what we're working to do. So that we can utilize that money really as an incentive for our groups.
So you do have some of the $65,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, Odessa Jackalopes hockey.
Good evening again. I've been asked to speak on behalf of the Jacks. Their management and coaching staff is out of town currently scouting, so hopefully we can get some better players to make the playoffs this year. As I mentioned before, this is the 23rd season for the Jackalopes here in Odessa. This year they've added a new team to the division from New Mexico, I believe. So this year we'll be hosting 28 games, which is more. I believe there was only 22 or 23 games were home games last year. This year there'll be 28, so there's more need for beds for heads. We're going to see an increase in scout activity, as well as we have to bring in referees and other game officials for these home games. We have an opportunity for the D1 scholarship this year for 15 guys, so we do expect to see more scouting for sure. The Jacks players and coaches have been a great role model for the community, as well as for the youth hockey group. Last year we had 2 showcase weekends. which brought a lot of people, a lot of travelers in from out of town. The January showcase and then the March showcase. The March showcase was what they did last year was the alumni. Jacks played against a team from Finland. They're hoping to try to do something very similar to that again this year. And just, an influx of personnel coming in to see these games and spend time here with their kids as well. A lot of the players that are playing for the Jackalopes are from all over the country, as well as European players, and expect to just continue to grow it.
Okay. Any questions? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, Odessa Lynx.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, Mayor Turner and council members. My name is Erica Thomas. I'm the Executive Director of Odessa Lynx, and our agency is requesting funds for our Lynx Community Conference. We're now in our 6th year of bringing service professional content to our area, and we've built a very strong following from attendees across the state. Each year's content just it varies depending on what might be trending or just different topics that we feel are valuable for not only ourselves and our partners, but people across the state that we communicate with. Since we've had this conference, we've doubled our attendance over the years, and we've even had to move locations to accommodate more people. This conference has a strong marketing team that maximizes the funding that is received from the city. And because of that, we, again, have been able to expand our reach across Texas. We have brought nationally recognized speakers and interactive sessions to educate and engage our regional partners. And we really just want to continue to expand and build off of that. We definitely are very grateful for the continued support. We definitely also want to graduate to a level of independence, but we really love that buy-in from the city, and it just encourages people outside of our area to attend, and they know that the backing from our community is there. This year's conference, we are bringing the Bridges Out of Poverty content. We are bringing Miss Prudence Peace. She is a nationally recognized speaker and is very popular amongst service professionals. So we look forward to having her in our area again this year. We anticipate to eventually outgrow our space and move to the conference center. Unfortunately, with our speaker dates, they conflicted with the center would be available. But that is something that we are working towards, so we're excited to have that coming to us. Do y'all have any questions?
Any questions?
On your sponsors, the 7,500, is that the matching that you get, like 50% of what we give you? Is that what that is?
That is a minimum. We definitely try to go beyond that, but we try to seek sponsors and partners that will help us bring a great speaker, and then of course maximize any marketing funding that we put out there. Any other questions?
Any questions? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for having me.
Next, Mr. Patton, Odessa Parks Fall Festival.
Fall Festival, what a great event. We have this is our 11th year at Fall Festival. It started out many years ago as an idea I had, and we had about 650 people at the very first one. It's held at McKinney Park, and now in the 11th year, we push over 6,000 attendees. It's just a one-day event. We are very, very fortunate to have a support staff of volunteers of 250 people plus, and the entire event is free to the public. The main goal of Fall Festival is to provide an educational experience for families in a safe, high quality, and just a great day for families in the park. It is very well attended, and we have some great partners. We try to feature different types of venues that's not offered any other place in like Fiesta West Texas or some of the other big events that are hosted within the community. And we look for an educational value that's there within all the venues that we have. What's real neat is we've got a great partner with Chevron, and sometimes they'll bring a good employee force, of their own volunteers, and they're our partner. And they've upped our sponsorship this past year to $30,000 from the past 25, and they are a proud sponsor to be part of this. So, any questions about Fall Festival?
Steve, in your budget, you have $60,000 for equipment cost.
Yes.
What is that?
Mostly entertainment.
So it's not
Or
equipment?
the lessons. Well, some of that is equipment as far as the lifts that we have to put up out there, and all the equipment that we have to rent to move things around that's
Okay.
out there. But some of that is part of the equipment costs that we have to get things in
But that's
place.
not something we could move to capital outlay. I mean, it said equipment costs, so I thought maybe that you were buying some equipment for
No,
this.
it's primarily rental.
Okay.
We have to rent a lot of equipment. And a good portion of these dollars go to marketing and advertising.
Okay, any other questions?
Steve, you said over 6,000?
Yes, it's grown. It's packed. It really is. I don't know if you've seen our displays, but we grow all of our own mums, and this Scott's growing his own pumpkins and gourds that we do our pictures with, and so it's beautiful. It's unbelievable. It is really an impact on, and this year we're going to focus on not only our typical educational value, but we've added another facet, which I think is really cool, is Chevron is working with their partners, and we're going to bring out big oil-filled equipment for people to actually sit on and get their picture made, and for the kids to go up there and experience, sit on the heavy equipment. So I think that's going to be really cool.
Any other questions? Next, Odessa Park, Starbright Village. Don't you go
Oh,
anywhere.
I was going to run away. Is there any money left?
No, I'll answer that one.
Yeah, that's it. Well, Santa Claus is watching, so he knows if you've been naughty or nice, Malcolm. Anyway, so, Starbright Village, what an incredible event. And y'all, this is its 32nd year. I started it when I was 12 years old, and it's been an unbelievable growth in that event, a free event. And I'm very happy to report that last year we have a vehicle counter that's actually placed in the asphalt out there. The vehicles, not including the pedestrians that pull up, park, and walk, we had over 207,000 people visit Starbright Village. And so it is an incredible impact on especially the economy and the tourism that people come in and go through. Just people off the interstate. They'll come in, grab something at Dairy Queen or on Grant. It's really amazing, all the people. And I'll stand out there and ask them, where are you from? We've had people from Alaska on the way to California, from Dallas. I mean, the interstate brings them off the interstate, and they see all the big lights. And what a huge attraction. With the amount of advertising that we do, I think it is a big impact. First Basin Credit Union is our partner, and they're the title sponsor for Starbright Village. We're asking for monies that primarily is for marketing, and also with the Starbright Village, and as y'all well know, in any type of entertainment type recreation situation like that, you have to have something new every year. And we always try to focus on a new displays, a new act, or something that's going to be an addition into Starbright Village. People look for that every year, and that's what keeps things fresh and new, and people come back and they always look for what's the new display this year, and we'll make those comments on television. So some of this monies will help us purchase a new display and keep things fresh and new every year to renew that newness with Starbright Village. And that's very important. I think we don't want to have somebody come and say, well, I had that last year, So, what an impact.
I see the almost 91,000 is from marketing. Where are you marketing in Alaska?
Everywhere. Absolutely. This year we want to go up into the Lubbock market, but what we're finding is our target area, especially on TV, very expensive. We don't hit Denver City, Brownfield, and when I talk to people out there, there's a lot of people in the small farming communities all the way past Lubbock that come down and talk to us, and I'll talk to them and visit with them in Starbright Village. So they've got a great market out there, and this would be a new venture for us marketing-wise, is to take this up into the Lubbock market, hit their television, and it would be all of the Plains area.
Well, you said earlier that people were coming from, where did you meet some people that were?
From Alaska.
Well, word of mouth is the greatest marketing you could ever have. I think they're
it is.
they're
I hope
traveling
a lot of Eskimos come from
and
Alaska
stopping.
too. It'd be great.
Steve, you're something else. I tell you. No, well, I guess my point is, Steve, that wherever these people stop, I'm sure they're talking about this. I don't see why the significant increase here.
Well, like I said, this is for the new market in Lubbock, and I'm finding it's really surprising, even in our own community, how many people have still never been to Starbuck Village. They don't even know what it is. And the educational process through marketing and advertising is where we're going to target this. Getting into the motels, I always produce Texas Monthly Magazine, Texas Highways Magazine. Those are staples. They're huge subscribership that we have there. We get in the motels with Midland, Odessa Living magazines. We do those. We do newspapers in the surrounding areas. We also do the radio. But it's, I think, important for us to try to look at maybe the Lubbock market at some point, so that we do familiarize everybody as this being a destination point, and they'll see the economic benefit of having something that is the largest display of Christmas between Dallas and El Paso. And I don't think El Paso's even got something. I saw their Christmas display, and we got them beat. Big time.
So same question. This has $125,000 for equipment cost. Is that like?
That is
a
rentals.
new? That's what?
But a lot of that is our equipment rental. We're running like
To get all that installed.
There's a lot of equipment that we have to rent to get that stuff up in the month that we've got to get all those displays up.
Okay.
We're running over 70 displays out there now, and we'll probably be back to ask for some more money in the future to add some power to the site, because we're just about there.
Really?
Just about to max out, and we'll turn on the light switch and all the.
Everything will go down.
We'll have a brownout.
Any other questions?
Just to say it's beautiful and a great job, Steve.
Thank you. It is.
It is beautiful.
Really, it is beautiful. It
Yeah.
is something to be really proud of, and what a tradition that it has become. People will come in, and they'll say, my relatives come to town. We go to the parade, and then we always go to Starbuck Village afterwards and stuff. And that's neat to see families out there.
Yep.
We go ahead and cover the golf course while you're there.
Sure. The golf course, we've got a marketing proposal which also hits the Lubbock market too. What we're finding is, of course, the oil field goes all the way up past the Lubbock area and over into Hobbs. And we want to get back into advertising and marketing. We have noticed since the last time that we've not received any type of funding for a good marketing campaign. We're experiencing a regular 3% loss in our rounds rate out there. We're way below what we need to be. We're at 41,000 when we first started many years ago, and our rounds now are pushing 36,000. Our rounds are significantly down, and what we've tracked is about a 3% decrease every single year. There are times that are available. We want to remind people that Ratliff Ranch is out there, and put that in their mind by doing some TV advertising and bring people to Ratliff Ranch, and especially from the entire area. We want to make it a destination point so that they will come to Odessa, play Ratliff Ranch, shop, eat, drink, whatever, in this area. It is a beautiful facility. I don't know if y'all have been out there and seen our greens, but I'll put them against anybody. Our greens are like carpet out there, beautiful. We've got a new superintendent, and he's doing an incredible job with the course. And the times with the new GPS that we have on the carts, what a new feature, and everybody loves the GPS except for the people that are senior citizens that we won't allow to drive on the greens anymore. So that's been a real challenge for us lately. But we're working through all the kinks of the GPS system, and there's no other municipal golf course in this area that's got that GPS system. And I think that's very innovative, and that's bringing some people that say, hey, that's cool, let's go out there and use that. But we do need to have some marketing money to bring people to the course and try to get our rounds back up.
Okay. Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Patton.
Sure.
Next, Odessa Crime Stoppers, the students this time.
Good evening. I'm Lieutenant Jeff Daniels with Odessa Student Crime Stoppers and ECSD Police Department, and we're here for Odessa Student Crime Stoppers. We were awarded the 25th Annual Campus Crime Stopper Conference. This will be Odessa's 5th time hosting this conference, and in the past it brought over 2,000 attendees. In summer of 2018, Odessa Crime Stoppers, the Chamber of Commerce, and the new Marriott owners, Sandra and Toby Oath, traveled to our state capitol to bid and present for this conference, and we were awarded it. Once we were awarded, we started marketing the conference across the state. Our registration is not yet open, and we're already receiving calls from people wanting to attend. We're estimating that we'll break the conference attendance record, which we hold, and we've broken twice. People love to come here. So, and the CVB's got us estimated at, I think, at $900,000 in revenue for the city of Odessa. So we're asking for funds to help assist in meeting rooms, meals, and bring in dynamic trainers for the attendees, which are students, teachers, and police officers from across the state. The information we give them, they take back, they're excited, they're motivated, they take back to their programs and implement. So it's really beneficial to everyone across the state, not just Odessa.
The governor's office told us is the premier model program for the state of Texas as far as our campus program goes, and I think that's why our numbers just explode. We go to Houston and we go to Austin and they have 300 attendees. For whatever reason, when we're coming to Odessa, we break 500 every time. And as you know, the costs here have gone up. When they asked us to do it a couple of years ago, we said there's absolutely no way. We're not going to be able to get the space. We're not going to be able to afford the rooms, whatever. When the new convention center opened up, we were the first ones banging on the door. Tell us what we can do. Every year after we do this, we throw our hands up and say we're never going to do this again because of how much work it is and all that goes into it. But everybody leaves so excited. They've asked us to do the 2022 adult conference here as well. So we're probably leaning towards that. So we've got big footsteps to follow in, and they expect a lot when they come here. So we hope you can help us out with this.
Susan, in looking at what your budget is, you've asked us for $50,000, and of that, $20,000 is hospitality items. In the Convention and Visitors Bureau, their hospitality items run about 6%. This is 40%. Are you giving away good stuff?
Well, part of what we put under hospitality is all of the notebooks and the handouts and things like that. We have to provide binders. They're students. So we have to provide all the binders, the notebooks, the pens. We have to give them backpacks. These are things that the state basically requires us to do so they keep up with the things that they're given. We also do some door prizes that come out of that. We also have an awards banquet that comes out of that, and we have to pay for all of the awards that are given out for the different state awards that everybody gets. That's figured into that total as well.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank y'all very much. Next, Permian Basin Fair and Expo.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank y'all for having us. And I know it probably takes a lot of, oh no, this is going to happen. My name is Mike Lemons. I am the president of the Permian Basin Fair this year. And what started out as a cow pasture bingo game to raise scholarship money for UTPB and Odessa College students actually ended up being the Permian Basin Fair and Exposition. We're in our 44th year. Everything we do is to raise money for scholarships. That's how we exist, why we exist. We have currently about 45 active board members and about 150 super duper volunteers that work their tail off all year long, putting together a family entertainment event that's 10 days long now. Like I say, when it started as a cow pasture bingo game. So our fair dates this year are August 30th through September the 8th. Again, it'll be our 44th year. We also found that we would try to work out a deal with UTPB, Midland College, and Odessa College a few years ago, and they all agreed to match any scholarship that we gave. So if we have a student who gets a scholarship here at Odessa at the Permian Basin Fair and goes to one of these three institutions, each one will match that. And I personally teach at Odessa College, and I've had several students that have actually majored in agriculture and actually got that matching scholarship. So I know personally where that came in handy for some students from, say, Kermit and Monahans and Andrews. So real proud of that. We'll have carnival rides. We have one of the largest carnivals in the area. We'll have entertainment, a lot of arts and crafts, vendor booths, food booths, rodeo events, livestock shows, and many other attractions at the fair. Our last year's attendance was about 41,266. That's what came through the gate. In our farming and ranching division, since I teach agriculture at Odessa College, I teach my students how to develop an agriculture economic impact study. So guess what? We use the Permian Basin Fair as part of our learning type situation. And so I had students this last year look at all of the different things that we do just in the farming and ranching division. So, and there were several things that they looked at. Most of our shows, they have to bring like cattle in one day, they weigh them the next, they show them the next. So they're here at least 2 nights. So they eat in our restaurants, they stay in our motels, and you know, I had some people say, well, they could drive home. Oh, but they have to get up at like 5:30 in the morning to come feed that steer.
Sir, your time is up.
Okay. So anyway, we just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what we're doing with the Permian Basin Fair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you very much.
Yeah, actually, I see the directors right here. Is that the whole entire board?
Yes,
that
sir.
you guys listed?
No, that's not the whole entire board, no.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, who exactly, who are exactly all these people?
Most of those are our division directors. They're arts and crafts, our commercial divisions, farming and ranching division, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. All right.
That help?
Any of, are these volunteers or paid
They're
employees?
all volunteers.
All
Yes,
the
sir.
volunteers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, Sand Hills Stock Show and Rodeo.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
How's it going?
Kind of like the Sandhill, kind of like the Permian Basin Fair, we started a few years ago. Actually, 1932 is when we started with the livestock show and a quarter horse show. And from there, to raise more funds for the livestock and the youth and scholarships there, we put the rodeo in, and since then we've grown to some other events that last 9 days. And we have attendees and contestants, as well as people to come and watch that come from multiple countries and across the United States. So, like Steve mentioned a while ago about marketing, we market every year with the money that you have given us so graciously over many, many years. And I can go to work on Monday morning after our first 2 performances, and people ask me, doesn't the rodeo start sometime about now? So we would like to increase our budget. I wasn't prepared yesterday, Peggy, so I came a little more prepared today.
Thank you.
We want to increase our budget so that we can reach a little further in other communities other than just here. And something new to us is the social media thing. We're a bunch of old cowboys and cowgirls. Technology's not our strong suit. So we're trying that market and to move out, and also our Odessa site, that if you don't have that loaded on your app yet, I think that's something that you should have to promote whatever you have in this city. So, any questions?
Good question. Thank you very much.
Surely. Oh, thanks, Peggy.
I just asked him all my questions yesterday, so.
Number 25, Texas Tours Entertainment.
Today's about the hottest day I've been through. I'm ready for a big, tall glass of ice water. First of all, Mayor, City Council members, I want to apologize for last year. I had put in a request and I wasn't able to be here for reasons beyond my control, and my grant was declined, because I couldn't be here and speak on my behalf. But I'm here today to say thank you for the support you've given me in the past. I know that the Tejano Supercar Show has had grants previously granted. And I know the council members change, time to time, so I'll be quick. The 48th Tejano Supercar Show began in a small dusty dirt road in South Odessa, where I was born, and it just moved from a park to a different park to in front of my body shop, and continued on to Pan American Ballroom, Los Arcos Ballroom, even the Baez baseball field. Eventually, we ended at the Coliseum in the mid-'70s, and we've been there since. The car show has been 48 years long, 48 years strong, and the event is a family-based event, and it has to do with family, community, cars. It's my thing. That's what I do. Cars. We build them, we make them, and art. That's what you would call what it is. It's art. What we have down there, we have anywhere from a model car contest to a bicycle competition for the youngsters. We have art competitions, which would include any type of art. We bring vehicles in from all over the United States. Los Angeles is one of the cities that they love Odessa. They love the people here. They love the atmosphere, and we've had a big support. This year it is a sanctioned event, again, from one of the Motor Trend publications, Lowrider Magazine. The editor is a friend of mine, and we've managed to sanction the event. They're bringing in one of the top build cars to Odessa, which has never been seen in other cities. Actually, it's a fresh car, and this is what we're known for bringing in the new cars, the new creations, the new art that nobody has seen. So you'll have to come to Odessa if you want to see this El Dorado, 1970 El Dorado, which is a masterpiece. And that's just one out of 500 cars that we have. All the buildings, A, B, C, D, E, G, and the main building, including the fairgrounds, will be packed with cars, vendors. It is a fiesta, it's a family fiesta with the touch of the automotive art to it.
Nick, your time is up.
Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Do you, what do you do with the profits that you make from this?
Well, I do have a business here on 15th and Grant, which is a collision center. And some of those monies go, to maintain that business, to get out, whatever it takes to keep us afloat. And, we have to save some of that money for the following year, because it can get up in the numbers of $150,000, $160,000 just to put on the event.
Put it on.
So it's a pretty expensive event, to start with zero money, because I started with zero money. So whatever that the council grants me, it's something that I really am thankful for. One of the things that this grant money that I get from the grant is that I have to spend it on marketing. I'm not allowed to do some type of a scholarship and half, or buy an artist or an award. It has to be done. I have to give it to the news stations or the radio stations, or use it for print. And I wish that the council would allow me to use some of this money because this is like a convention. We're bringing all these people from around the car clubs and body shops and all types of businesses. And half of this event is all registering the people. taking their names and what do you want and where you're from, and getting to know the people, and then doing all types of seminars with the event. So I consider this like a car convention.
How many volunteers do you have at this convention? Do you have volunteers or do you pay them?
I have volunteers and I have a staff. My staff is about 10 people, and I do pay them. And I have volunteers that come out and help me too with the gates and so whatever we need to do, you know. The car culture is a very tight family knit organization, and everybody wants to volunteer, everybody wants to help.
Okay, any other questions?
What's your attendance normally, Nick?
My attendance has been anywhere from 5,000 through the 2-day event to 10,000. It just depending on the entertainment. That's what draws the local people in. Plus the cars, but the entertainment helps.
Okay, and you do charge for them to come in?
Yes, I have a fee for the cars and for the people that come in also.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next is UT Permian Basin Athletics.
Mr. Mayor, thank you, and City Council, please thank you for allowing us to present today. I think everyone would agree, I believe everybody would agree, that UT Permian Basin is good for Odessa. It's good for the community. It's good for Ector County. And what I'd like to introduce is UT Permian Basin Athletics is good for business. And we're not to the point, we don't charge yet in a whole lot of our sports, so we're not sophisticated enough to know exactly how many fans, how many parents and brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and just fans of other schools that are coming to us. And so I couldn't present what I would say factual data to you in that regard. But what we can present factually is we know exactly how many events we had, and we know how many, the travel party from each of those teams were, and we know how many nights they stayed. And it may surprise some of you to know that this past year we put on 102 athletic events at UTPB. All right, so what we did is, what we just passed out in front of you there is we broke it down by sports. And so you could see the baseball team in the top column there, they had 7 series, home series this year. It's a 3-day series, so the teams come in on Thursday, spend the night, play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and go home. So that's 7 series, that's 315 hotel nights for the sport of baseball. About 35 participants travel with each team. We use the same indicator that the Discover Odessa used. You like that, huh? I almost said, I had to write it down. I was going to say Convention Visitors Bureau, but Discover Odessa used. So we use the exact same formula, and you can see going down through there that every sport and what they bring in, just with what we know they bring in. There's no fans in there. There's no parents in there. That's just what the sports that we play are spending here in Odessa. So it's good for business. And the grant we're asking for a renewal of the grant, and that is to help us as we continue to build a football program that we want to build and get to where it brings a lot of fans in. Okay, we're not quite there yet, but I promise you we're working on it.
Okay, any questions? Okay, thank you very much. Next is West Texas Track Club.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Stella Nebo, and I'm the youth coordinator for track and field in West Texas. I have been doing this for the past 20 years. And on behalf of West Texas children, I welcome all the new members to the City Council. Our program, it's a crazy one. We take kids from age 2 to 99. And if they can run, eat, breathe, we want them. We have a few 62-year-olds that talk back to their coach, but we love them. And I tell them, I say, you need to run faster, and they tell me, no, coach. We were able to host 3 track meets this year, and it pulled in a lot of athletes from all over. And we were able to give out scholarship to 4 high school graduates for the 2019 year. And each of those athletes got $1,000. Our track club currently is in Fort Worth, TCU. They are participating in the USATF State Championship meet. We are here because we have to be here, and we'll be going there in a couple of days to join the track club. I am very passionate about this program because it involves children, and children is the backbone of our community. And people stop me. I'm a registered pharmacist. I work 2 jobs, and I have to make time to do what I do because it comes from my heart, and I love it. And people stop me every time and say, how in the world do you do it? How do you sleep? I do it because I have a passion for it. Back in May, I received a phone call from a lady who called me, asking me how her autistic child can join our track club. She was asking to get my permission because she did not want the kid to come in and distract other kids. She told me that no other team will accept the kid. The boy was kicked out from all the other sports. I invited them and I told her to bring the kid directly to me. And I worked with this kid. And on June 26, 27 at the track meet, this kid competed. Unfortunately, I was dealing with an event at the field event while the kid was running, so I missed it. But as I was walking back to the stadium, the mom called me and said that the little boy wanted to see me. And my mind just flew. I'm like, oh my goodness, what did he do now? So when I got there, as I was approaching him, he was hanging 2 bronze medals on his neck with a big old laugh, smile on his face. I ran up to him, I picked him up, I gave him a hug. And he told me, he said, Coach, I won. And I said, yes, baby, you won all by yourself. And the mom broke down crying. And she looked at me and said, Miss Dimbo, how do you do this?
That's good.
That's why I do it. And that kid was rewarded for his hard work. You are our oxygen. If you cut it off, we're dead. So we need your help. God bless you. Thank you.
Are there any questions? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Nebo. No, you're fine. Next, White Pool House Friends.
First of all, I want to say thank you to my daughter Catherine for sitting through this. She's been a doll. Good evening. My name is Christine Holcomb, and I represent the White Pool House, the historic White Pool House, one of the cornerstones of Odessa's vibrant history. We are requesting funding through the Hotel Motel Historic Restoration and Preservation Program. First, I want to thank you for the critical role you've played in saving our museum and its legacy. For those of you who are new to the council, I briefly want to tell you where we were about 8 years ago. We were about ready to close the doors. We were literally passing the hat to pay the bills and pay the help. We had about 300 visitors a year, and that was mostly us. Now we host about 10,000 visitors per year, and the bills are getting paid. We took the museum, the barn, the grounds, and turned it into an event center. Some of the unintentional benefits of our work have been that people visit the museum who ordinarily would not have set foot in a museum, and they find out they love it. And through all of our improvements and regular maintenance, the neighborhood itself has begun to improve by the way of their own attractive home improvements. 2, we have become something of a welcome center, not only to the numerous travelers, but also to the new Odessans moving here for work. They are eager to learn more about Odessa, its culture, and its history. Our marketing is working wonderfully. Our attendance is holding steady, and this spring, PBS was filming at the museum for their TV series, American Experience. The show will air next year and will feature the childhood of President George W. Bush. Also, we've been chosen as the American location for the upcoming movie Because of the War, based on World War II. The film is scheduled for production in the spring. Again, I thank you. Our marketing would not be where it is without your help. Like everyone, we're feeling the pinch of the higher cost of doing business during a boom. We are humbly requesting your help with the marketing, leveraging our administrative, security, and insurance needs, and please help us to continue moving forward with maintenance and storage issues, especially as it concerns housing more of our expensive equipment and especially our treasured archives. We hope you'll fully fund our request, but again, we thank you for your enduring support. Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The last two are Ector County Coliseum, which is an interlocal agreement, so there is no comment needed on that one. And the next is administrative and audit fees, which are, no comments are needed. So we will get started. We will start first with District 1.
I gotta be excused.
Sure. Start with.
Are we going down the list?
Starting with District 1.
Okay.
We're going to start with Black Cultural Council.
So what I'm asking is, are we going to go down?
Yeah, we'll go all the way down. Okay.
All right.
We'll go back up to general. Fund.
Children's Miracle Network, 50,000. Odessa Crime Stoppers, 60,000. Permacare, 90,000. Odessa Teen Court, 67,170. I got contacts in that, but it's for the.
First.
Yeah, UTPB first. What is that? First 5 Permian Basin,
Yes.
15. Young Professionals of Odessa, 20,000. Black Cultural Council, 70,000. Commemorative Air Force High Sky Wing, 50,000. Downtown Odessa, 450,000. Downtown Odessa, downtown light pole banners and holiday decorations, 100,000. Fiesta West Texas, 30,000. Junior Jacks Youth Hockey, 10,000. Junior League of Odessa, 15,000. Odessa Arts, 800,000. Odessa Convention and Visitors Bureau, 975,000. CVB Sports Events Recruitment, 40,000. Odessa Jackalope Hockey, 30,000. Let's see here. Odessa Links, 15,000. Odessa Parks Fall Festival, 65,000. Odessa Parks Starbright Village, 150,000. Odessa Student Crime Stoppers, 50,000. Permian Basin Fair Expo, 100,000. Ratliff Ranch Golf Links, 50,000. Sand Hills Stock Show and Rodeo, 125,000. Texas Tours Entertainment, 20,000. I'm sorry, 25,000. UT Permian Basin Athletics, 200,000. West Texas Track Club, 55,000. White Pool and Friends, 40,000.
That's it.
Ector County Coliseum, 50,000, and of course the admin and fees.
Okay. Council Member Bryant, District 2.
Before we start, or before I start, I'd like to at least say thank you all for your presentations. Thank you all for your needs. I understand that, and just because I may not agree does not mean anything against the organization that you serve. But thank you all for being here. Children's Miracle Network, 0. Odessa Crime Stoppers, 60,000. Permacare, 90,000. Odessa Teen Court, 67,170. UTPB, First 5, 15,000. Young Professionals of Odessa, 20,000. The Black Cultural Council, 50,000. Commemorative Air Force, 50,000. Downtown Odessa, 500,000. Banners and decorations, 184,000. Fiesta West Texas, 20,000. Junior Jacks Youth, 15,000. Junior League, 10,000. Odessa Arts, 700,000. Odessa Convention and Visitors Bureau, 1 million. CVB Sports Events, 65,000. Odessa Jackalopes Hockey, 20,000. Odessa Lynx, 15,000. Odessa Parks Fall Festival, 100,000. Odessa Park Star Bright Village, 125,000. Odessa Student Crime Stoppers, 50,000. Permian Basin Fair and Exposition, 130,000. Ratliff Ranch Golf Links, 27,000. Sand Hill Stock Show and Rodeo, 125,000. Texas Tours, 20,000. UT, 0. West Texas Track Club, 50,000. White Pool House Friends, 40,000.
Okay. Next, we'll move to District 3.
I again want to thank you all for your presentations, and I think every single one of us wanted to give you everything that you asked for, but unfortunately, we were not able to. All right, you ready? Children's Miracle Network, 20,000. Odessa Crime Stoppers, 60,000. Permacare, 85,000. Odessa Teen Court, 65,000. UTPB First 5, 10,000. Young Professionals, 20,000. Odessa Black Cultural Council, 60,000. Commemorative Air Force, 50,000. Downtown Odessa, 500,000. Odessa Lights and Banners, 145,000. Fiesta West Texas, 45,000. Jacks Junior Jacks Youth Hockey, 15,000. Junior League of Odessa, 20,000. Odessa Arts, 700,000. Odessa Convention and Visitors, Discover Odessa, 1 million. CVB Sports, 80,000. Odessa Jackalopes, 45,000. Odessa Lynx, 15,000. Odessa Parks Fall Festival, 90,000. Odessa Parks Star Bright Village, 175,000. Odessa Student Crime Stoppers, 25,000. Permian Basin Fair and Exposition, 125,000. Ratliff Ranch Golf Links, 50,000. Sand Hill Stock Show and Rodeo, 100,000. Texas Tours Entertainment, 25,000. UT Permian Basin Athletics, 50,000. West Texas Track Club, 50,000. White Pool House, 55,000. And then the last two,
That's it.
As is.
Next, Councilmember Sprouls.
This has been a grueling process for all of us. We spend hours going through these books, and it's quite a process. We have to keep in mind that we're spending other people's money, but we need to look at it as if it's our own. So sometimes this may be a little short, sometimes it may be more than generous. Children's Miracle Network, 25,000. Odessa Crime Stoppers, 60,000. Permacare, 75,000. Odessa Teen Court, 62.5. First 5 Permian Basin, 12.5. Young Professionals of Odessa, 15,000. Black Cultural Council, 50,000. Commemorative Air Force, 50,000. Downtown Odessa, 525,000. Odessa Parks, 100,000 for banners and decorations. Fiesta West Texas, 30,000. Junior Jacks Hockey, 0. Junior League of Odessa, 15,000. Odessa Arts, 350,000. Odessa Convention and Visitors Bureau, 1 million. Sports Events and Recruitment, 80,000. Odessa Jackalopes Hockey, $40,000. Odessa Lynx, $15,000. Odessa Parks Fall Festival, $75,000. Odessa Parks Starbright Village, $125,000. Odessa Student Crime Stoppers, $30,000. Permian Basin Fair and Expo, $120,000. Ratliff Ranch Golf Links, $50,000. Sandhill Stock Show and Rodeo, $100,000. Texas Tours, $20,000. UT Permian Basin Athletics, $100,000. West Texas Track Club, $50,000. White Pool House, $45,000.
That's it. Next, Councilmember Willis.
And again, it's been, as Tom said, a very hard and grueling, nights of no sleep kind of decision-making process. As a new council person, I would like to thank everybody for what you do for Odessa. It takes all of us to be the best Odessa that we can, so I appreciate you. Children's Miracle Network, $20,000. Odessa Crime Stoppers, $60,000. Permacare, $90,000. Odessa Teen Court, $60,000. UTPB First Five, $15,000. Young Professionals of Odessa, $10,000. Black Cultural Council, $70,000. Commemorative Air Force, $50,000. Downtown Odessa, $465,000. Downtown Odessa Parks banners, $100,000. Fiesta West Texas, $55,000. Jack's Youth Hockey, $5,000. Junior League of Odessa, $10,000. Odessa Arts, $900,000. Discover Odessa.
Wait 1 second. The last one was Odessa Arts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
$900,000. Odessa Convention and Visitors Bureau, Discover Odessa, $975,000. CVB Sports Events, $50,000. Odessa Jackalopes Hockey, $20,000. Odessa Lynx, $15,000. Odessa Parks Fall Festival, $100,000. Odessa Park Starlight Village, $200,000. Odessa Student Crime Stoppers, $25,000. Permian Basin Fair and Expo, $100,000. Ratliff Ranch Links, $20,000. Sandhill Stock Show and Rodeo, $125,000. Texas Tours, $50,000. Permian Basin Athletics, $0. West Texas Track Club, $55,000. And White Pool House, $40,000.
Okay, there we go. Okay, Councilmember Dean.
Thank you. I thank you all as well for being here and for putting all the effort that you do into Odessa. I've said from the very beginning what Odessa needs is just a whole lot more pride in the community, and everyone that has spoken tonight really exemplifies that. So thank you. Okay, Children's Miracle Network, $0. Odessa Crime Stoppers, $60,000. Permacare, $90,000. Odessa Teen Court, $60,000. UTPB First Five, $15,000. YPO, $20,000. Black Cultural Council, $75,000. Commemorative Air Force, $50,000. Downtown Odessa, $500,000. DOI Parks for the banners, $92,000. That's actually for the Christmas decorations, not the banners. Fiesta West Texas, $30,000. Junior Jackalopes, $10,000. Junior League, $20,000. Odessa Arts, $873,820. Odessa Discover Odessa, $1,023,180. Odessa Discover Odessa Sports Event, $65,000.
Hang on a sec.
180. 10231. Yep. 65,000. Odessa Jackalopes, 30,000. Odessa Lynx, 15,000. Odessa Parks Fall Festival, 90,222. Odessa Parks Starbright, 150,000. Odessa Student Crime Stoppers, $32,000. Permian Basin Fair and Expo, $100,000. Ratliff Ranch Golf Links, $45,000. Sand Hills Stock Show and Rodeo, $100,000. Texas Tours, $25,000. UTPB Athletics, $100,000. West Texas Track Club, $55,000. White Pool House, $50,000.
Okay. There it is. Children's Miracle Network, 0. Odessa Crime Stopper, 60,000. Permacare, 90,000. Odessa Teen Court, 67,170. UTP Firm First 5, 15,000, and 20,000 for young professionals. Black Cultural Council, 60,000. Commemorative Air Force, 50. Downtown Odessa, 500,000. Downtown Decorations, 184. Fiesta West Texas, 30. Junior Jacks, 20. Junior League, 15. Odessa Arts, what is it? 700,000. Odessa Discover Odessa, I'm sorry, 1,023,180. Sports Recruitment, 65. Odessa Jacks Hockey, 20. Odessa Links, 15. Fall Festival, 100. Starbuck Village, 150. Odessa Crime Stoppers, 50,000. The fair's 125. Ratliff Ranch is 25. Sand Hills is 100. Texas Tours is 20. UTPB Permian Basin Athletics, 50. West Texas Track Club, 55. White Pool, 40,000. Okay, we do have some consensus. Let's go back up the top, start with the general fund. We do not have consensus on Children's Miracle Network. We have 2 20s, 2 and 3 zeros. Well, usually we have to come to consensus, so.
Come down to 20.
Yeah, I'll go 20.
20.
Councilmember Hamilton go to 20.
I'll do 20.
Councilmember Sprouls goes to 20, and that's consensus. Odessa Teen Court, we have 3 67 170s. Councilmember White, will you go to 67?
I will.
Okay. And that's consensus. Now to the Hotel Motel.
Save first.
Oh, yeah, please save it. We do not have consensus on the Black Cultural Council. We have, 70, 2 70s, 2 50s, 2 60s, and 175.
I'll go 75.
Councilmember Hamilton will go to 75.
I'll go 75.
Councilmember Willis will go 75.
I'll go 75. I'll jump up.
Councilmember Bryant go to 75, and that's a consensus. Next, Downtown Odessa Parks, banners and decorations. Have more hundreds.
I'll come down to 100.
Okay. Councilmember Bryant said he'll come down to 100. Sorry. Sorry, Steve.
We love you. You know, we love you. We love you.
Okay, we got Junior Jacks at 10,000. I'll go down to 15.
I'll go up to 15.
Okay, Councilmember Hamilton will go to 15. That's consensus. Junior League, 15. We have 3 15s, 2 20s. Does anybody want to come down, or does anybody want to go up?
I'll go up to 15.
Okay, Councilmember Willis will go to 15, and that's a consensus. Odessa Arts, we have 3 700s, 1819.
Let's go to 9. Come on, y'all.
I'll go to
I'll
700.
take my 873 to 9.
Okay, 873 to 9, but we also have Councilmember Sprouls go to 700,
Can I go to 9?
and that will be a consensus right there.
What's that?
Councilmember Sprouls goes to 700, and that's a consensus. Odessa Convention and Visitors Bureau, we have 3 1 millions and 2 1,023,000. I'll come down to the million. Okay, then we have the recruitment program, 365s, 40, and 280s.
I'll go to 65.
Okay, Councilmember White will go to the 65. That's a consensus. Jacks, 320s, 230s, 45, and a 40.
I'll go to 30.
Okay, Councilmember Sprouls will go to 30. And that's 3 30s and 3 20s. Councilmember White, which one do you?
I'll go 30.
Okay, she'll go to 30. That's a consensus. Odessa Fall Festival. Oh, quit moving on me. 300s, 290s, and a 65. Is anybody interested?
I'll go to 100.
Okay, Councilmember Dean will go to 100. And that's a consensus. Starbright, got 3 150s, 2 125s, and a 175.
I'll go to 150.
Okay, Councilmember White will go to 150. That's a consensus. Crime Stoppers, student Crime Stoppers, we have 350s, 225s, and 230s.
I'll go to 50.
Okay. Councilmember Willis will go to 50. Permian Basin Fair, we've got 2 125s and 3 100s and 1 130.
I'll go to 125 if you'll go to 125.
Hey, I'm on 125.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Tom. I'm sorry, it's Tom.
Put me at 125.
Tom goes up to 125, and that is a consensus. Ratliff Ranch Golf Links.
I'll go to 50.
Okay, Councilmember Dean will go to 50, and that's a consensus. Texas Tours, we have 25, 25, 25. I'll go to 25, and that'll be a consensus. UT Permian Basin, we have, wow, we're all over the place.
I'll go to 0.
Okay.
Oh, man. Go to 100.
Now it goes to
Athletics.
White, Sprawls, and myself. Teacher, how do you feeling?
Man. I'm feeling like
I can't go to 0. This is heads and beds, and they do as good a job as anybody.
And they've got lots of events going on.
They do. Who brings more people to town than our college and university?
But on the other hand, they get probably UT money.
They get funding from UT.
Yeah.
Athletics don't get UT money.
They don't get any money for
I
athletics.
don't. They don't get.
They have their own athletic
Where is Scott?
budget.
So I'm not lying when I say that.
I'll go up.
So if that's the case, then I'll take mine back to 100.
Mine too.
Yeah, I will too.
Councilmember Willis will go to 100, and that's a consensus. Right. And that is consensus on all?
No.
How much did we spend?
Yeah, what's the total?
Is it? Oh, yeah.
3 million. Okay, we will need a motion to approve the general fund.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve 200,
It's not the
well,
same
go back up.
allocation, but it's 20,000.
272,170 for the general fund. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Now the hotel motel.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to approve $3,472,599. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you for the long meeting. We know these are long. We've just got a little bit left and we will be finished. Next, move to miscellaneous appointments of boards. Norma, do you have anything?
Yes, sir, I do. For the Citizens Golf Advisory Committee, appoint Courtney Halsey.
Okay.
For the Traffic Advisory Committee, reappoint Leo Martinez.
Okay. Can we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Do we have any cards?
No, sir.
We have no cards for citizens' comments on non-agenda. I don't know. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We say it all at one time.